I really appreciate those kind words. It sounds as if my mum's been on LinkedIn saying nice to chat again. I'm glad she does it. Thank you very much indeed for the opportunity to come here today and speak to you. And I'd like to add my congratulations to those of Kelly for such great achievements over the past few months, not least in securing a very valuable loan. And I don't think it could be in safer hands. To be honest, I'm delighted with your success, and I was thrilled when I heard the news. So a little bit about Study Perth. Study Perth has three primary objectives. The first is to promote Perth as a study destination overseas. The second is to promote collaboration and cooperation amongst all the stakeholders and member groups, which include all the universities, private colleges, English language colleges and TAFE. And the third is enhancing the student experience once the students are in Western Australia through a range of initiatives. And it's this last objective that has undergone the most revision over the past few months since the advent of COVID-19. Our priorities have been focused on three kind of points over the past few months to ensure that students are safe, secure and connected. And it was very evident in the Zoom calls that were referred to earlier that those were the three priorities of international students around that time too, and those priorities remain. In a crisis, you very quickly work out who your friends are, and it was very clear from an early stage that ISWA was going to be a very good friend of Study Perth and international students in Perth, in Western Australia more generally, because they shared the same values and priorities. We launched our crisis relief programme in April, and to provide rental support and grocery vouchers to students in acute need, and that is still continuing. I'm pleased to say that the demand for these services is diminishing, but I'm sure that there are still students in acute need, so I urge you, if you are aware of anyone who needs help, that crisis relief programme will continue for as long as it's needed. Reach out at studyperth.com.au is how to access that. We launched our programme, but it was absolutely dependent on close cooperation between institutions in WA and community organisations. As Kelly has said, all the universities quite quickly mobilised and launched their own hardship funds, which were very comprehensive and very well received. And among the community associations, ISWA very quickly emerged as one of the most impressive. Now, I was particularly impressed from a very early stage because you were engaged, you were proactive, and you were inclusive. And these were things that resonated very well across the whole international student community. The Thursday evening Zoom calls, with up to about 30 or 40 or sometimes even more students, provided me with a great insight into the lives of students who were struggling, but also provided a great inspiration. I quite often, I left those meetings pretty well every time feeling very moved and inspired by what I'd heard and by how engaged, proactive and inclusive ISWA were as a group. Our research has shown that international students in need don't want charity. They want a hand up rather than a handout. And that research has been reinforced by many surveys that have happened over the past few months. With this in mind, ISWA advised me that there was one of the few industries that was booming during lockdown was food delivery. And there were many students who were very willing and able to participate in this to get some income, but they didn't have a bike. We have very good friends at Rottnest Island Authority, and I wondered whether they might loan us some bikes, because I couldn't imagine they were doing a roaring trade on Rottnest at the time. So I made a call to the Chief Executive of Rottnest Island Authority, who's soon to become the Chief Executive of the City of Perth. So clearly this very generous offer on her part was noticed. I'm sure it was very instrumental in getting her that role. But rather than loan us bikes, Michelle Reynolds, the Chief Executive of Rottnest Island Authority, donated 40 bikes to the cause, and I was delighted that these were received by ISWA and distributed to students who could put them to good use. One of my colleagues was so inspired by this story that she donated her own daughter's bike to the cause. I understand her daughter was very surprised the next time she tried to go for a ride. Over the past 2 years, Study Perth has had an emphasis on student employability, long-term employability and career prospects. But running the crisis relief programme has given us an insight into the more immediate requirements of international students for employment, for ongoing casual and part-time work to see them through their studies. With this in mind, we've actually adapted 2 of our major initiatives, the first being Prosper, our online platform. This brings together a variety of modules for professional networking, orientation to Perth and employability, but increasingly support and advice for students in how to identify and obtain casual and part-time employment. It's also home to the new International Student Jobs Board, specifically for international students looking for work. And we're planning to introduce wellness and wellbeing modules in the coming weeks to support students in that area too. During this time of closed borders and social isolation and social distancing, we're extremely fortunate to have this adaptable and scalable platform to provide all these services online. The second initiative that we've adapted is the Study Perth International Student Hub, which opened last month in the heart of the city, 191 St George's Terrace, for anyone who wants to drop in. I know a lot of people already have from ISWA. It's embedded within a technology and startup hub and a co-working space that is integrated very closely with Prosper. It provides a physical space for students to meet other students, to meet employers, business councils and community groups, but also an opportunity to join an existing community of innovative businesses and entrepreneurs. Wellness and wellbeing programs are already established at the hub, and legal services and financial management are shortly to be introduced. Again, one of the insights that we've gained from running the Crisis Relief Fund is that many students actually need some advice and support in managing finances when finances are tight, and these will start in the next month or so, in the next week or so. But we're also working on the other side of the equation, not just about identifying opportunities and helping students become job ready. It's important that we educate and inform employers about the benefits of engaging international students. For some employers, large and small, it all just seems too hard, when in fact the benefits, but it isn't hard, it's actually very straightforward, relatively straightforward to engage international students, and the benefits from engaging international students are immense. And that we see that as part of our mandate and our mission to work that other side of the equation and educate, inform and enlighten employers. Our current work and our proposed work with the Student Wing of ISWA, I think is a perfect example of community engagement in action. We had a wonderful meeting a couple of weeks ago with the ISWA executive and the Student Wing, came to the Student Hub. We offered our support in the form of the hub could be the base for the Student Wing, if they wish, for all their meetings and their events, but also with the mentoring program, which you'll hear a bit about more. We have offered the services of Prosper to help identify, select and train mentees and mentors online, and also the hub for any face-to-face engagement. So we see that as exactly the kind of service that we should be providing to proactive, engaged community associations like ISWA. And I was delighted and not surprised that ISWA was the first cab off the rank and knocking down our door to see how they could work and take advantage of these opportunities. So we are absolutely delighted to be working closely with our good friends at ISWA, and particularly with the Student Wing. ISWA is a great friend of Study Perth and a great friend to international education in WA. And I wish you all the best and look forward to a long and profitable association. Thank you very much.